Hi there and welcome back. We're on box number 35 of the Great Collection Unboxing. As a refresher, I'm opening a collection, an estate collection that I bought, and I chose to open one box on camera every episode, so I don't know what's in here. Let's find out. I have Breyer Mostly Shire mold. So that's cool. The Shire mold was sculpted by Chris Hess and introduced in 1972. She's a really attractive, pretty girl, but she's probably been superseded by some nice new molds. So this is the original regular run, 1972 Shire mare. She's in they were called Honey Bay or Honey Chestnut. Definitely just a chestnut, not a bay, with the little darker mane and tail. The variation that you'll see is on the face. Some of them have stenciled markings and some of them just have soft airbrushed markings. She's got the soft airbrushed markings, and she's in definite played with condition. She has lots of big marks and rubs all over her. She was a well-loved horse. So next, looks like we have another Honey Sorrel Shire mare. Oh, this one's pretty. So these are both the same mold, but you can see on the face, this one's stenciled, so the edges of the masking is much harder. This one is just very softly airbrushed. So that's the main variation that you see. When they're right next to each other, she's more golden brown. She's kind of a darker brown. And she also has the beginnings of a dorsal stripe, which you don't see very often. Other than that, they're pretty similar. She ran a pretty long time, 72 to 1980-ish. So you will see a good amount of variations just in different painters painting horses. So some will be a little darker, some will be a little lighter. Next we have, I think this was a Sears or JCPenney Christmas Wish Book special run. She is the Black Shire mare, just with a bald face and the white stockings. There was two black special runs. There was the Sears and then the Ragsickers. The Ragsickers was like 1985. They only made about 300 of them, so they're a lot more scarce. They're much easier to tell apart in person, but I have a sneaking suspicion that she is the Sears because she is more of a semi-gloss. The Ragsickers was more of a very, very matte color. She also has nicely glossed eyes, and it's just more likely that she's the Sears special run. As I said, unless they're in person, you can't totally tell them apart, but that's what I'm guessing is she's the Sears special run. And we have another special run, again, either Sears or JCPenney, I don't remember which one. This is the Palomino. She has white mane and tail and white stockings and just a little white blaze on her face. I think this one and the black were mid to late 90s, so 95, 97, 98, somewhere in there. And again, they also made this Palomino from the Ragsicker special run. They're much easier to tell apart because the original 1985 special run is solid Palomino, so she has almost solid colored mane and tail, whereas the later special run for Sears or Penny's, the Wish Book, had the white mane and tail. So this one's much easier to tell apart than the black one. This is definitely a later Wish Book special run. This, I think, was a regular run, late 90s. She's a really, really attractive roan with the dark black mane, tail, and legs with the black extending above the knees, which is as true bays are. Sometimes Breyer doesn't get bays completely accurate. She doesn't have the sharpest painted mane. She's got a lot of overspray, but really, really nice, rich color with the nice shading. She's very attractive. This is a really attractive, pretty mold, so this is a good color on her. Just a regular run, I think late 90s, 97, 98, somewhere in there. Oh, interesting. Okay, so then we have, this is a dapple gray Shire mare. So, and I have another dapple gray Shire mare, so this, we might luck out with this one. We did. So when the Shire mare was originally issued in 72, excuse me, she was made in two colors. She was made in that honey sorrel and she was made in dapple gray. They were both made as regular runs for 4, 5, 6 years. That's about average for back then. And this is the regular run dapple gray Shire mare. She has a special run sister who is also dapple gray, and they're pretty similar if you just hear them from the description. They're both dapple gray. They both have kind of baldish white faces. They both have white on their legs. But when you see them in person, it's fairly obvious. The regular run, the dappling stops here at the shoulder. And this is very consistent. If you see any of the Breyer dapple grays from that era on the Proud Arabs or whatever, this kind of very uniform dappling pattern where they're dappled fairly evenly across the body is mostly from their regular runs from that era. This gal, who is the special run, has much more variety in her dappling. So she has light, very large dapples, and then light, very small dapples. Not as uniform, much more contrasty. And she also has dappling all the way up her neck and onto her face. So she can be fairly easily told apart from her regular run sister just by having the dappling up on the neck and the face. But when you do see them together, you can see this one's a lot lighter. This one sort of has the suggestion of that dorsal stripe, but they don't all have them. But the regular run tends to be more uniform and darker. She tends to be lighter and more variety, and also having that dappling up onto her face. So this is a pretty scarce. This was the first special run on this mold, like I said, 82. I think it was a Montgomery Ward Christmas catalog special run. So she's pretty scarce, but they're both very attractive. So all the colors I think on this mold look pretty good, and a nice variety of regular and special runs, some of the earliest and moving on into the 80s and 90s. So hope you enjoyed and learned something, and join me next week for another box of horses.